All right, and we're back here once again here on Couch Coach Live. We are on a special Monday night edition here under the lights here on Couch Coach Live, and we conclude our fourth annual Super Week as we recap Super Bowl 58. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man?
Hey,
Great
man.
weekend, man. I just can't do nothing but smile, man. Like it was just such a satisfying season, and like just I know you being Couch Coach Live, man. I know you had to love this weekend, man, and
Yeah,
everything all week.
yeah, it's bittersweet, honestly. It's kind of one of the things where it's like it's sad because football season's over. You think of
Yeah,
just the other. You think about the NFL. You
yeah,
just think about the football season in general is over.
right.
You know even dating back to high school, college, and now the NFL. And, now we get into a different part of sports, which and
Right.
it's kind of one of the things where it's been a long road since
Mm,
what August, and now we're here.
right.
Fast forward here to February, and we're
Right.
here as we're crowning a new, well, not a new Super Bowl champion, a repeat champion. That is the Kansas
Right.
City Chiefs, as they won last night. So what we're going to talk about tonight, we're basically going to be recapping last night's Kansas City Chiefs win over San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk about our takeaways. Um, how on earth did San Francisco 49 team lose this football game? And
Mhm.
even in the midst of that, because we looked at this game as the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers playing at the Usher concert. So we'll talk about the halftime performance that is of Usher. And then we kind of then we'll kind of recap our favorite moments of the NFL season. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a brief time out. We'll keep that intro and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. And shout out to our guy Big Kirko. He did his thing on the NFL honors. I wish it's funny. I wish when we did the show Thursday live, I should have kind of pushed it a little bit forward because we would have been able to kind of see that in real time and kind of react to that. But shout out to our guy Big Kirk. Look like he could be ready. So what I'm saying, I don't know if Minnesota want to go pick my boy back up, or he might want to go up a little, little east a little bit to Pittsburgh, but we'll see.
I heard they
And let's
love
see
him
what
out
you
there.
think about it.
I
Yeah,
heard they
I
love him
mean,
out there, so he probably ain't going nowhere.
yeah. Shout out to Big Kirko, man. He gonna be healthy and back and better than ever next year. So coming off the Achilles injury, so
All right.
hey, he's a free agent. I don't know. We gonna find out where his destination is. Probably about a little over a month. So that's gonna be another fun thing to look forward to as the weeks and months progress. As we conclude football season, tier. But we're here. So let's talk about last night's Kansas City Chiefs victory over the San Francisco 49ers. So we got to talk about our takeaways from Super Bowl 58. Maui, what are your takeaways from last night? What you got?
Um, Man, wonderful game, man. Like even the first few hours, it was just I just was on the edge of my seat. It was like a roller coaster ride, you know. Um, like I said, 49ers, they fought. They just didn't capitalize on a lot of their well, I'm not gonna say that. I just my takeaways. It was great. Overtime game. I think everybody got what they deserved and what they wanted, even more. You know what I mean? Like all day, the whole day. Place I went to, everybody was seemed like in good spirits. A lot of people's team wasn't. I guess because a lot of people's team wasn't in the Super Bowl. A lot of places I went to, but a lot of people played a lot of Super Bowl pools. cooking a lot of wings and barbecue, a lot of bean dip. You know what I mean, for the atmosphere. But for the game, man, I just was satisfied. I don't really know. I mean, we're gonna go forward and we can go in detail, but I was extremely satisfied. I felt like it wasn't. I felt like they really let them play too. They really let's kind of, and it was just nothing. I just was satisfied. I got everything I wanted. That's all I really could say about takeaway from the game. Like, I just was extremely satisfied.
Yeah. It was a few. Obviously, I look at the takeaway, the number one takeaway. Defense wins
Right,
championships. I know a lot of people we have had to kind of, people say, well, no, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships.
right.
You look at once again, like we talked about it in the Baltimore game, how as far as a certain series of plays, a certain defensive plays help
Mm-hmm.
propel this team. And once again, in this game, you look at the Chris Jones playing overtime and on third down, where essentially him pressuring Brock Purdy to a point where if he did get pressure, if Chris Jones didn't almost barely get home, he would
Right,
have connected with Jennings, who I think Jawan Jennings would have been our Super Bowl MVP had the
right,
San Francisco 49ers win. Obviously,
right.
having that having the receiving two at that time, if he would have connected on that and playing overtime, two receiving touchdowns and then one passing touchdown.
Right.
And then I think that one of the biggest plays is Leo Chenal's extra point block
Mm-hmm.
with 11:27 left in the first and in the fourth quarter, which had which the Chiefs was only down 16-13 compared to being 17-13. You see how that was like the tenor of the fourth quarter, where it was towards the end as far as a bunch of like trading field goals. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously that helped Kansas City be less aggressive. Where hey, if they'd have been down by 4, they would have instances where hey, we got to score in this possession versus hey, we can just kick the field goal, put ourselves in overtime. So that was a big play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Chiefs are our modern day dynasty. They're the first team that's won back to back Super Bowls in 20 years. This is
Right.
their third Super Bowl in 5 years. Patrick Mahomes once again another stellar performance. 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's not even 29. He'll be 29 in September, and he's already a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Nicole Hardman, that's another one where we always say these games there's always gonna be an unsung hero, and he filled
Mm-hmm.
the bill. And shout out to our guy Wild Card Mar. When he was on the Kansas City Chiefs preview, he talked about this. I think it was in the 1830
Mm-hmm.
something mark of that preview. He said he was gonna be the unsung hero, so he was there. And I think the one thing is the Travis Kelce and Andy Reid situation. I I'm gonna put it this way. I think it was wrong for Travis Kelce to do that to Big Red, but he could have had his point further across because I definitely think he should have been in that game. I should have been in that play.
Mm-hmm.
That's the play that where Isaiah Pacheco fumbles, and so especially in that possession there when you're in the red zone, you got to put Travis in. But I just didn't like the whole outburst. But they said that they apologized and it's all
Right.
said and done with. So um, my guy, oh Lord, my guy Kyle Shanahan, man.
See, I wasn't gonna go. Oh, yeah, I wasn't gonna
Oh yeah,
go
we oh yeah, we go. I mean, trust me. Oh, we're definitely going in on Cal today because Cal deserves it. Unfortunately, in the game of this magnitude, once again, he blows another 10-point lead, and it's sad and it's funny when we look at those Super Bowl graphics going forward. He's going to be 3 of those Super Bowl runs are going to be tied to him. Obviously, that 28-3 against the Falcons, him as OC. The last Super Bowl in Super Bowl 54, where they were down by 10 and going into the fourth quarter, and Kansas City scored 21 unanswered. Then you having a 10-0 lead with about midway to the second half, to the second quarter. Come on now. That and just I think a lot of it, just two more takeaways.
Okay.
You just look at the 49ers, and they did everything they could have done right in the first half. I mean, you held Travis Kelce to 1 reception, 1 yard. You balled him up. Goodness gracious, Chase Young beating that Donovan Smith. He was manhandling him in that first quarter. It was almost like he was getting home. He got Patrick Mahomes, and then it's just amazing to me how Kansas City is just the unorthodox champion. A lot of it's the weirdest thing because there was a lot of moments in that game where you definitely thought they were gonna fold. I mean, you look at we talked about the Travis Kelce situation. I just talked about it earlier. That didn't affect them. The Patrick Mahomes throwing an interception, an inopportune interception in the third quarter to Jair Brown, um, him, and then you look at how frustrated they were, and look how the Chiefs defense looked in the fourth quarter. They looked fatigued, but they was able to get through that and make it through and also persevere, especially in that overtime. Because I did not think how they were looking in the fourth quarter. I think those guys were so gassed, like to a point they needed the oxygen mask. And then for them to come back in the second half and only hold San Francisco in the overtime, and pretty much was in that game. You know, the defense was on the field the whole just about the majority of that overtime period. It was able to hold them to a field goal. So I mean, yeah, it was like you said, it lived up to the hype. And I told people this, this was going to be a good matchup. We all knew this was going to be a good matchup. It wasn't going to be a blowout type of fashion. It went down to the wire, literally.
I don't think the Chiefs are that team yet to like just blow a team out like in some
Yeah,
type of way. Cause like I went and watched all their Super Bowl wins, today, and I was watching the Eagles one, and it was almost identical. Now I won't say identical, but it felt the same. You know what I mean? Back and forth all the way to the end. And um on that note, when you say about takeaways, I just felt like I don't know. I just feel like they have tactics that they do. I think they said we're gonna go through this first half, and we're gonna try some other things. I didn't understand why he didn't have Kelsey in the game either. It seemed like every time he ran Pacheco, number 10, he seems
yeah,
so a lot of times he didn't have Kelsey in the game. And I was telling my dad, I said, why would you do that? I want to have Kelsey in the game every time. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
that's who they're going to be
yeah,
looking for. I just didn't understand that. But hey, man, I don't have a Super Bowl, and it seemed like to me, Andy Reid know what he's doing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It is too much film. It is too much film for them to watch that you say these dudes are doing the same thing almost every Super Bowl. They're not doing
yep,
anything extra.
different,
They
right?
keep doing the same thing. Um, Let me see. I kept saying in the first half, I said, man, he's looking very Lamar Jackson. Like, why isn't he running the ball more? Why isn't he scrambling more? And he really didn't. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. He runs when he needs to run, and he slides when he you don't think he's going to slide.
Yeah,
And then when the game is on the line, you think he's going to slide. He's not.
he
He's
go
going to
for it.
try. He's going to go for it. You know what I mean? And that's Patrick Mahomes. But man, I'm giving a shout out to Andy Reid because we could talk about Kyle Shanahan, but let's not forget Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb and the times that they were there and they lost. You know what I mean? When he
Yeah,
was with Philadelphia, a lot of times and now look where he's at right now. Like pretty soon we're gonna start looking at him like he Bill Belichick. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I honestly think he should be in that
Right.
conversation when you sit down and you really think about it because he had a great run in Philly combined with this situation. So and it's funny, like, and I think we talked about this in the preview where he reminds me of kind of how we look at Cal Shanahan, that as far as that
Right.
deploying the leads, but
Right.
getting there and falling short. Obviously, those Philadelphia Eagles teams that he took to the NFC Championship game and lost, and then
Mm-hmm.
finally had that breakthrough in 2004. They
Right.
finally won and finally made to Super Bowl, and then they lost to the Patriots. So you look at just from that
Mm-hmm.
standpoint, but yeah, I mean, I think if he continues, I mean, I think if he gets about 5. I think you can really start. I think even next year, if he three-peats, I mean, because
Right.
now he'll do something that I don't even think no one has ever done. I don't if if I can what I can think of who won 3 consecutive, because I think even the Cowboys, I don't think did they I think they might have won. No, they didn't. They won
Let's
3 in
see.
like four, like three,
Was it the
like 4 or 5
Broncos?
years. They won back to back.
They went back to back.
But I
Okay.
think because the Cowboys won because we won in 92. Well, 91, we won. They won in 92, 93. That's right. So they won like 3 within like a 4 or 5 period. So I think if he can get 3 consecutive Super Bowl wins, I mean, you really can put him in the conversation as the greatest coach of all time,
Mm.
potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
But he got to get there. But that's a thing where I think if he can get to win 3 straight Super
Mhm.
Bowls, I mean, he's in that conversation. I mean, he's in that
Right.
conversation. As far as even compared to like Bill Belichick, because he did something
Hmm.
he didn't do, and then you got to think about it. Bill Belichick, I think, what was in between like 10 years between he won, one Super Bowl between the others. So
Right.
think that if Andy Reid could get 4 and then get 3 consecutive Super Bowl victories in a row, he, there's got to be that conversation.
Right.
I think it's a conversation today, but I think it's even more heightened if he does the same feat next year.
Right. So on the Kelsey and Andy Reid thing, I just feel like they figure out ways to motivate one another. You know what I mean? Like even when
Yeah,
Rice and Patrick Mahomes, this is what I was talking about.
yeah,
Don't feed into the tactics. Don't
yeah,
they Super Bowl champs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just don't feed into that. You don't feel like, oh man, look, they over there arguing. Nah, they not. They doing what they doing. They've been playing together and been
yeah,
coached for the longest. Everybody can put their judgment. Oh man, if that had been such and such, that had been such and such. Man,
yeah.
you don't know the definition of their relationship. You don't
Right.
know any of that stuff, man. They try to figure out because we human. Everybody got nerves and butterflies.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something which was important is I heard somebody say this is a different type of halftime. It's 20 minutes long. And
Oh,
they
yep.
said this and I'm thinking myself, see, they're playing chess. They weren't playing checkers. They know if you look at the stats, like I'm thinking, don't get me wrong, McCaffrey he looked like he was killing this whole game. But he only got like 8 receptions for 80 yards, which is good, which is great. And then he got like 80 yards rushing. And I'm like, man, I just knew he broke 100 yards the way he was running all over the place. You know what I mean? Samuels only got like 33
But
passing yards and like
yeah,
8 rushing yards. Like, and when you watching it, you thinking the 49ers are dominating. Like Kansas City look lost. Like, you know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
something just didn't seem right that first half, or even going into and just they professional, man. They champions. They just capitalize on their opportunities.
yeah. Because most things that we talked about, like with the Kansas City angle, most of those situations that happen would have broken most teams. Like if you've seen this,
Hmm.
I mean, we've seen it happen essentially 2 weeks ago when the Ravens
Right,
unrailed.
right,
I mean, we've seen this time and time in this run. You even look at if you fast forward. I mean, not fast forward, but going back to Christmas Day when you
right.
thought, oh shoot, this Chief team is not going anywhere. I think I even might have even said that where they're not even, they'll be lucky enough to, to because we knew they was gonna be on the road. You look at the
Right.
frustration, Travis Kelsey, he slams his helmet. I mean,
Hmm.
it's and then from there, I think that's the last time they've even lost a football game. It's probably since Christmas. So it's just one of those where that's where most that's what's like, and I think you said, and it's a credit to Andy Reid to kind of, and he even said that even in that situation where Travis Kelsey, the helmet, he was like, hey, we just needed to get that out. We needed to, have those type of situations to kind of to kind of, get us together, clean everything up, and kind of humble ourselves. And I think that's the beauty thing about this team, where, most times, like you said, the whole thing with Rasheed Rice, he's a rookie. He's a guy. He's a young guy. So you think to yourself like, oh, he would have been, that would have crushed him.
Hmm.
And then Patrick Mahomes, you seen the emotion from Patrick Mahomes this year, and that's one thing
Right,
too. That's the beauty thing about it, where your leader, you see the different type of emotion. I mean, we seen like in
right,
quarterback, but I think now it's even more because you look at like the frustration
right,
after the Bills game when when he blamed the refs for the
right.
situation. But we know that Mr. Healthy Scratch was a contribute to that
Right.
to that play. So shout out to our guy Kadarius Tony,
To
Healthy
me,
Scratch.
to me, you have somebody that's arguably might be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So me on the defense, okay, we're not winning. It is very important to us to keep containing this offense. So they either stop them, punt them, just keep giving him an opportunity. Keep giving him an opportunity. Because if he get the opportunity, he's going to capitalize on. Like eventually, he's going to capitalize, and I don't think these dudes understand that how great that Mahomes, like how great this quarterback really is. You know what I mean? I'm sure they do, but I'm just saying in general. That's what I would tell myself if I played the defense. Like we got the golden ticket right here. So he's all over the place. This is all over the place. Things ain't looking. We just need to keep containing, guys. Keep containing. And that's what I kept saying. I was like, come on, Patrick. Like, run the ball, man. I said, as soon as you scramble, everybody's nervous. I kept
Oh
saying
yeah.
that. I kept saying it over and over again. They kept trying to run the ball, and I was like, okay. Then I kept saying to myself, okay, I'm looking at the score, and it was like 3-zip. Then it went 10-zip, right? And then I'm sitting here like, okay, as long as they can keep it close, he's gonna find a way. Like, that's all I kept saying.
Yeah.
Then by what, the third quarter, going into the fourth, what was it, 13-10,
Because
right?
let's see. I mean, because what? Okay, now I'm thinking because all right, it was 10-3 at halftime. Then they end up scoring because I know Kansas City went up 13 because it was what they kicked another field goal. Then
Right.
that's when they scored because that's when
That was third
old
quarter.
boy well he didn't fumble the off that punt. I think it was either a punt or a kick return where
Right.
somebody from the Chiefs from
Right.
the 49ers it hit their foot, and then Ray
Right.
McLeod try to
Right.
get the
Right.
he tried to recover it from the hit,
So they
not the
they
hit, but
had
when they hit the
three. They
ball.
had they had three going in the half. It was
Yeah,
yeah, three, and then they
because
scored or
yeah,
something
because
like that.
that's yeah, because all right, I'm gonna pull it back up
All right.
because yeah, because I think because on the play where they essentially got the lead because that ended up being like I know they ended up getting the lead because that was the Valdez Scanlon touchdown that was like 13-10. I think that was
Right.
at some point in the third quarter. But I think one of it, I don't know if it was either the field goal because the big play was the Ray McLeod play where with it hit somebody from San Francisco. He was trying to recover it and
Mm-hmm.
it ended up being fumbled. So
Right.
um yeah, it was because I think they went into halftime uh Washington was up 10-3, and I think they end up kicking a field goal.
Right.
Kansas City kicked the field goal, and then they end up scoring on that Valdez Scanlon play, and then I think from there, that's when I call it the field goal, the field goal fest going
Right.
into overtime. Because pretty much that fourth quarter was nothing but field goals. But yeah, because I see, yep, because Harrison Buckner score. Okay, so at halftime was 10-3, obviously, because
Mm-hmm.
Butker he scored the touch the field goal going into
Mm-hmm.
halftime that put them on the board for the first time. Then Harrison Buckner he got another field goal with like 5 minutes ago in the third, and then Scanlon Valdez Scanlon made that play.
Mm-hmm.
The on 16, and then that's when, like we said, it was a cavalcade of field goals, and pretty much was 19-19 going into overtime.
Right.
But
Even we even had record breaking longest field goals from both teams. I think one was
back to
like
back, yeah.
back to back. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just happy, man.
Yeah,
We were born, and I was born in '78. You was born in the '80s, and we able to see all these great players, man. Like I was just sitting here today, like, man, that was something to see. We have plenty of stories. We could be like, man, that's you know what I'm saying? Like you
yeah,
just got to see some, and these lights are big. Like I was just sitting here, as I said, look how big this Super Bowl stuff is. Like kids get watching in Nickelodeon, in the other one watching on Nickelodeon. It's crazy.
and shout out to Dora, yo. Shout out to Dora. She was telling everybody what to do. And look before we get going, Dora should have told Cal Shanahan when you won that toss, you should have elected to defer and let Kansas City get on the field. Dora should have been like, Coach Shanahan, don't do that. The new overtime rules suggest that everybody gets an opportunity to play. So when you kick a field goal, it's not Domino's. It's another possession. So,
Swiper, stop swiping.
like, Cal, don't go for it on
Yo, you
it's the new
crazy, yo.
overtime rules. Don't do it,
Crazy.
Cal. That's what Dor should have came and be like, look, don't do that. So,
Kyle
but
Shanahan, he looked lost. Like even after when he
bro,
lost, when he was on, he just and then his players looked like they just was in shock. Like
I'm and and I'm a stickler for this, and this we'll talk about the 49ers kind of more so
right,
kind of blended in. I had a strange feeling about Kyle Shanahan the moment he got off on the bus and got to that stadium. He got to that stadium, man. I swear, I'm telling you, every year when I look at the pregame shows, I always look at when guys leave the hotel when they come and they come to the stadium, because
right,
that's when you can really tell, like, okay, who's the relaxed team, who's the team that looks tight. Cal looked Cal looked tight. I like it's so funny. Like you look at everybody else, everybody was loose. You even look at Patrick coming in loose.
right.
And it's something about Cal because Cal got there early. Cal got there at 9 o'clock their time, which is like 12:30 here. Like he got there almost 6 hours early. Well, not even six. I mean, like almost 8 hours. So Cal got there and he looked like a deer headlights. He looked I
I
mean,
know.
he looked like if you ever look at like him arriving and getting to the stadium, you're like, yeah, this dude gonna lose.
Just didn't look. I don't know.
It's
He just didn't look like he
yeah,
didn't. He didn't. He looked like he was like almost like a disconnect. And we looking. We don't know. He may don't coach like that, but he just didn't seem like he was interacting with everybody. He just seemed
he looked
stiff.
nervous.
He seemed
To,
stiff.
like to me, it looks like a more of a combination of him being nervous and scared. It's different than kind of what you seen. Because what's funny is if you look at the opening day on last Monday,
Hmm.
Cal was so relaxed, people thought he was drunk.
Oh
Like
wow.
people, I mean, he was so relaxed and kind of candid. People thought he was drunk. And then you look at fast forward to yesterday when he got to that stadium. I'm like,
CBD oil.
it's weird because that's how it is funny. Ever since like the Super Bowl when the Colts played the Saints that year and the Saints won, I looked at Peyton Manning. I was like, he losing. And it's something about looking at guys' body language
Hmm.
suggests. And I said the same thing for Cam when he lost to Denver in the Super Bowl 50. I was like, it's something about the body language that suggests like because everybody always tells you, and that's their speak of, oh, we're gonna treat it like it's a different week, like it's the same week, you do the same thing. But we all know that's just like everything in life. Like,
Right.
certain days of the year is it just day whatever on the calendar. Certain days is certain emotion that evokes to you. So if it's a big day or something, or something like that, you're gonna feel it. And the same thing
Hmm.
with this with the Super Bowl. So like, you look at it, I was like, Cal, compared to how Big Red looked, Big Red just looked like he was just chilling, like he just ate a hamburger and like, hey, let's
so,
do it.
so
Just
that,
I
that
mean,
chilled him out. Eat the hamburger. Let me get with the burger.
yeah, yeah, they got him a burger on set after the post game yesterday. But
Hmm.
yeah, because dude, I remember one year. So this was, we'll talk about it moment. Well, before we catch another one. So Andy Reid, when he this was last year, so this was Christmas of 2022. They gave him a present. They put it in a Nike shoebox, and it was a cheeseburger or a hamburger.
Where is my
Because
chocolate shake?
Big Red loves some cheeseburger. I mean, Big Red love burgers. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Big Red. That's all. Like, yeah, he go. Once all said and done, when he retire, he'll have a nice big old cheeseburger ready for
Right, right, right.
him.
Is
Yeah.
that Five
So
Guys over there? No, 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 no,
yeah,
not Five Guys.
man.
That In and Out.
Yeah, I think
No,
they got him.
no,
They got him in and out. They got him
right.
in and out.
Yeah.
ESPN when he came on stage, him and Chris Berman and Booger.
That is so
What?
stupid. I
Like,
can't
it's Booger be
believe
falling.
he looked relaxed, man. Yeah, like he had him a burger. Shoot, that's
Yeah, and
hilarious.
it's weird. I'm telling you, man. If you ever like, I know I'm the
That's
geek
hilarious.
of it all, but because I was watching the pregame stuff like it's like 1 o'clock. Like it started like it didn't start like the well, really NFL Network starts at 9 o'clock,
Right.
and then I transitioned to whoever covering it like around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
and I always like seeing those arrivals because it's different compared to like they have arrivals during the regular season,
Right.
but this is like heightened. This is like they show you, they getting on the bus and then they show you kind of get on the bus and then going to the arena, man.
It's funny,
Fun.
man. Like I always say this. When I talk about like Ric Flair when he used to do his promo, he used to say that like, "Hey, man, you got to walk that aisle. You got to do these interviews. You got to look at these. You can't let these lights. You know what I'm saying? There's only certain people that can do it.
Yeah,
It's only certain people that can do it. Like that's what Floyd Mayweather. When you fought him, you that had been used to having the best hotels that brought the best food, and because you're supposed to be in training and being disciplined. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Got to deal with all of that, man.
yeah.
Being a Super Bowl, man. You know how many interviews? Like you trying to worry about the game, but it's all the extra stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one thing I've what this would this be the 14th, 15th year of me looking at being a bilanguage doctor at Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, but yeah, but so we kind of talked about Cal, so we definitely want to kind of now talk about our thoughts of why the San Francisco 49ers lost yesterday. So what's your thoughts or your takeaways from the San Francisco loss essentially?
I mean,
Start with.
I think Brock Purdy did too. I didn't get the stat. I forgot to get the stat about the third quarter because I felt like um, once they really in the second half started running the ball, it was looking really dangerous for Kansas City to me. I don't understand, and I think Cal did the same thing he did with Atlanta, man. Like, what is you throwing the ball so much? Why would you even? First of all, you got Samuels, you got a fullback that you use, you got McCaffrey. Like, man, you should have been running all over them. You should have been running all over them, especially once you started getting the lead. But bottom line is they capped that block punt and the no the block field goal and the punt, like you said, hit dude's knee, hit his ankle or something like that, and they recovered
Yeah,
it.
they
It's just
recovered. Yeah,
they capitalized on the opportunities, and you can't when you was the 49ers, and I guess this comes with being not as experienced as the Kansas City Chiefs is it is the Super Bowl, and you cannot constantly not capitalize off turnovers or opportunities. You can't keep, especially even dealing with a Patrick Mahomes. You have got to keep your foot on his neck. You either need to keep him off the field or you need to keep getting points. It can't be no punting. It can't be. You have to. You know what I'm saying. You have to have complete control of the game dealing with Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I just did like they didn't capitalize on their opportunities as they should have.
yeah. And I think the key number one thing, the reason why they lost, not knowing the overtime rules, and this is where, and this is something where this ain't something that just came out of out of thin air. Cal Usix admitted that. Who else? Eric Armstead. Like, I'm like, you gotta understand the concept of the new overtime rules. Now, I can understand the situation where it was implemented this week, but it's been
Mm-hmm.
around for 2 years. So you mean to tell
Right.
me within any of these practices that they'll never implement a strategy in the event if you're in overtime? That's kind of frightening. Like to me, like on the other end, you look at when they asked I think either it was Chris Jones, somebody from the Chiefs, and they said, hey, if there's a situation where if we was even thinking if they scored that we could have potentially would have went for two. I mean, that was their thought process. If in the event of San Francisco scored, that was a possibility, but
Right.
that just lets you know that they worked on that game plan. So to me, not knowing about the overtime, that's crazy because
Right.
in hindsight, what you should have done, and like we said jokingly, as far as if because Dora would have told you to let Patrick Mahomes get the ball first, because you want to see what Patrick Mahomes can do. Because what if you have a situation where Patrick Mahomes, you hold them to a field goal, so in your mind you'll do the inverse. Okay, well we're going to score because we're
Mm-hmm.
not going. I don't care what happened. We're going to all our possessions are going to be four down territory unless we get to a point where Jake Moody can get us out, at least tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you sit down and you think about it, I don't want Patrick Mahomes to get the ball again. Like if I could get an opportunity where I could get him in this possession, he scored whatever, and I get an opportunity. And like you said, I would even maybe flirt with the idea maybe going for 2 because I don't want Patrick Mahomes in this situation like he did here. He had 6 seconds left and he threw the game winning touchdown. Like,
Right.
you don't, and you want this game to be over. Like, because you don't want to have, and we've known this, and it's a thing where you don't want the best quarterback in the NFL to have the ball in the last possession. We've known that's classic Tom Brady. Like we've learned that if the Carolina Panthers ain't learned that the at the time the St. Louis Rams, the Philadelphia Eagles, like these teams, these teams that have played them, that have played them and lost to them in those type of fashion, and so you don't want to have the best quarterback in the National Football League to have the last possession. I'm not going, and I understand this. They have San Francisco 49ers having a great defense, and Steve Wilson is a great guy, but I am not relying on Steve Wilson and his defense to stop the best quarterback in this league. No, I want the ball last.
Right. I got you.
I would put all my money in the Coles cash or whatever Brock Purdy be wearing on, for him to be the one to take that last possession. But I'm telling you, man, and like I said, I think that whole strategy of them not knowing overtime rules, because obviously in the past, whoever scores, it's like it's at the time it's sudden death.
Right.
Because this before, and it's funny to think people this was used to help. This was supposed to be something that was used to hurt the Chiefs, because remember that was in that game where Buffalo and Kansas City 2 years, well, I think now almost 3 years ago, where Kansas City scored and they they end up beat Buffalo, but they didn't have they felt as though it wasn't fair for them not getting an opportunity to get a ball in the second half, and then the rule that was supposed to be against Kansas City helps them in this game. So it's just interesting. Like the NFL, I mean we can go for hours talking about storylines about this team. So that's the first thing. And even to your point, why are you being so conservative? To me, if I'm up 10-0, every possession, I want to treat every possession as if I am down 0-0. Or hell, I'm gonna act like I'm behind. Because at the end of the day, you have a double-digit lead against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's never safe. Regardless of who you're playing. Leads like that it's not safe. But you got a guy like a Patrick Mahomes that can turn. You've witnessed this. This man scored 21 points on you 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago to that date, in the fourth quarter. Like, this the whole conservative nature going between, I would say, when they went up 10-0, and I think it was like 4 minutes ago in the second quarter, and then fast forward to when when Kansas City got the lead 13-10. Those should have been the opportunities where you should have got, like you said, then Jair Brown play. That should have been a great opportunity for you to do something on that drive to kind of get yourself going. You didn't. It's like you punted away, and I was like, that's the conservative, and it was just too conservative. And then the final thing I want to talk about, I don't think it necessarily affected it in a sense, but it kind of did. I think that Dre Greenlaw injury, that when you have an injury like that, I don't care what type of team you're on, that's going to take something out of you. I mean, we know that guys, people always say, "Oh, next man up," but that was a freak injury where he literally was getting ready to get on the field and tears his Achilles as he's running onto the field. Like that type of situation, that's gut wrenching, and you can you can see where a lot of those passing lanes are kind of clogged up during before this situation. I don't know if I could say, if they would have had Dre Greenlaw, if he would have made a significant difference. But when you lose a guy like that and how much he means it is to this team, that's gut wrenching, and that's one of the things where that could be a momentum killer. When you have a guy like that who now he didn't get hurt on like if he got contact, hey, it's a part of the game. But this man was literally just running on the field and tears his Achilles.
Mm.
Like crazy. And it's so crazy because it was during a commercial break. And then our guy Romo warned us, like, hey, you get ready to see something, and it's really gonna be like earth shattering. Man, I seen that. I was like, holy cow. Like,
Yeah.
man, that sucked. But that's why I look at how the San Francisco 49ers lost this football game. And yeah, but most of it's gonna go on Cal, man. This solely on Cal, because I think, like you said, I think in my personal opinion, and first before we, and also we gotta apologize. Everybody, y'all better apologize to Cameron Newton
Yeah.
because what he said about our boy
Right.
game manager, because you look at
Mm-hmm.
it in this game where Brock Purdy played well enough to win this football game,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just certain plays like we talked about in that inverse when they had that lead,
Right.
in that sequence when they had that lead, he could have had more, because look what happened on the other end. You look at what Patrick Mahomes did. He made plays like he gutsy. He 4th and 1. He's in shotgun formation. We're like, what the fuck is he doing? But Patrick Mahomes, what he do? He runs that ball, get that first down, and scrambles. And I'm like, Brock Purdy can never, as a young kid say. But that's where, like, when we talk about when Cam Newton, what he talked about, and that just shows you exactly what he's talking about. So for the ones who keep on hating on him, he proved his point. His point was
Yeah.
proven last night.
I think during this Super Bowl, he was able to sit down with people and to really explain what they're saying. They're like, "Oh, I get what you mean." Like, because nobody's looking at Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady is the elite and one of the greatest game managers that's ever done it, because he is the GOAT.
Yeah.
And that's, if you knew before he got Randy Moss, before he got Randy Moss, if you left him a minute and 20,
Nope.
it was crazy. Like, just to watch him just go. He knew exactly when. And I said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes. I was like, man, for a minute I was almost losing confidence, because I was like, come on, man. I know y'all got plays set up for a last 3 minutes, a 2 minute drive, and some of it was like overpassing. Some of it was, and I think that's almost made me feel like that's part of it, to stop the clock, or you know what I mean, by a certain period
Yeah.
of time. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you keep going. I think also the third down conversions. 49ers was 3 for 12, and Kansas City was 9 for 19.
Yep.
And I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean, to keep it going. It just seemed like my dad said. He said the difference is that the Kansas City was playing to win, and the 49ers was playing not to lose.
Yep. And you look at, and yep, and it's all of microcosm of the last 3 times that Cal Shanahan was a part of the 3 teams that he blew those 10-point leads. It's like that. And it's just, and yeah, and you can look at overtime sequence the same way, because what they thought was, okay, and thank God they didn't score, because and I got this from Dominique Foxworth. Just imagine if San Francisco would have scored, they would have thought they won the Super Bowl. That'd have been so embarrassing. I'm serious. Like, and that's so embarrassing to think. You think confetti gonna go? That's enough. I'm telling you. That's if that would have happened, they would have definitely lost that football game, because it reminded me a lot of, if you go back to when Miami and Ohio State played in the national championship, and Miami thought they won, and that's when they had that penalty. I think it was a hold on. It was a hold on. I forgot who it was from Miami, and then Ohio State was able to get another possession. It would. I'm telling you, if they would have scored, it would be really similar to that, because everybody would have got on that field, and we'd have been like, "What are y'all doing?" Like, y'all know Kansas City to get the ball back. So then you think you got that emotion. Then you think about that defense, that all that energy coming up and celebrating. You still got to play Patrick Mahomes for another possession. So it's just like, it's one of those where it's just like, that's where, like, that overtime rule thing is. I'm telling you, it's almost to a point where Cal Shanahan had to write that on a chalkboard like 100 times during the offseason. Because I
Well,
mean, he got to implement that in the preseason, in OTAs.
for me,
Like,
that's the San Francisco 49ers, man. Remember me and you when we first started talking, I said, I don't understand. You got all these coordinators, all these assistant coaches, all these different people, and you don't have somebody to tell you, say, hey, we're going into overtime. Look, if we score, they have an opportunity to score too. You have iPads, you have all these different like it's no
yeah,
excuse. And I can see, no disrespect to any other, it's the NFL team, so it's all, high class, but it's the 49ers. There's no excuse. No, and then you go out there and literally tell everybody that you didn't know the new rules.
right.
I wouldn't have said none of that. Great game. Yeah, man. But why did you not want to go second? I didn't want to put that much pressure on Brock. He's a young.
Or something. Right.
You're right.
Because I'm telling you, man, that oversharing, man, I've been like, hey, we know about oversharing. Like, you can't be oversharing, especially like that, because that lets me know you just weren't prepared. And that's
Right.
where it's like, in the biggest game, you weren't prepared. Because I don't know why you didn't think that overtime is possible. That's why I'm like, I find it very weird. But
Don't, because we've worked with people that are up here, and then they'll be like, "Well, why is this like this?" And you're looking at them like they're trying to be rude or ignorant to you, but they really don't know.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just you just wouldn't think, "Oh, is that Jordan?" I want an apology.
yeah. He said 49ers PAT miss and not returning the football in the third cost them. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
we talked about it in the beginning, especially that Leo Chanel play. So yeah, big time, big time. So we
And
gotta
that's
talk
another.
about
I know we got to talk about one more thing, but let me tell you what I've noticed in these Super Bowls too. There's always like, what's the odds of somebody kicking the ball or punting the ball, and then the ball comes down and hit them in their ankle or they shin, and then all of that stuff happens and especially for a team like Kansas City. That's why I said, man, it's magic. You got to play through that magic because them Chiefs, boy, let me tell you, they got more
yeah,
magic than the
man.
Patriots. I tell you that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's wild. So, we talked about, this, obviously the game, but the biggest thing, obviously, from a pop culture standpoint, because a lot of people looked at, these two teams are playing at a concert, an Usher concert. So let's talk about the halftime show. What was your thoughts on the halftime show?
Man, I'm happy for him, man. Like me growing up, I remember Usher singing on an old show my age, I guess, on a show called Star Search.
Whoa.
And no, you didn't go there. No, you didn't.
I know. I know it. That's what I'm like. Hey.
But like when he stopped the music and before he did Superstar, he was like, I worked hard to get here, and he said, "Shout out to you, mom. We did it." I thought that was what's up because his mom was his manager. You know what I'm saying? But I have no complaints. I think what one thing I did like about it. I don't think it was too much. I think it was real cool and smooth. Show you the different songs. It was nothing over the top. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
Yeah.
I think with 21 was it 21? I don't know. It was one they had, and I think it was in Atlanta. I was like, they doing too much. It
Yeah.
was, you know what I mean? So it was great, man. It wasn't better than the Dr. Dre one. I don't want to put it down, but I think it was great for him, and it was great. I know one more thing. Oh my goodness, Alicia Keys.
Oh,
Woo,
yeah,
Lord
man.
have mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
I think we all was talking about that.
Ah man, she done went to the top. Like when she did
Hmm.
that, she got up, took that down, took that one walk. I said, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I didn't expect to have red velvet cake at my Super Bowl party.
Yes.
Oh, the Ocho.
I think
Now,
she got right. I think right. I think she got two kids, right?
yeah,
Man. And you know what's crazy? Like she don't wear no makeup. Oh my god.
I know, right? That's even
Mm.
crazier. Like, I know, right? that damn boy, Ocho.
I see where you going. I see where you going. I'm
I
with
see,
you.
Like, right.
I see you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, be like, all right now, all right
I
now.
see. Okay,
All
okay. I
right.
see what you put in the pot. You cooking?
Like, I'm like, I'm like, Ocho. I did not think I seen some red velvet cake on my plate last night. I ain't even had no sweets, but I
You know
had
what I'm
some.
saying?
I had some red velvet cake, Ocho.
Shoot, shoot. She look at me the wrong way. I show her about a real rough rider.
You gonna
Stop. Drop.
all right now, Ocho.
Oh, I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
All right, Ocho. I'm about to go in that private jet, Ocho.
He said, "Man, what?" He said, "How come you ain't tell me such a?" He said, "Because you Ocho."
All right now. This man always say, all right now.
He said
But
they got a award for 500,000, and he was like, "Yeah, I ain't never won nothing, man. That's what to tell the fans and everybody. It means so much to me." I was like, "What is she
all right now, I ain't gonna talk over here. We're talking about uh don't know Alicia Keys Law when they talk about me when I talk about just hilarious. But Ocho,
Woo, boy.
just like my grandma used to tell you, boy, when they wear a dress, it's the one. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, nah, but I do remember Star Search as well. Star Search was it was like our American Idol where we found the next superstar. And
Hmm.
so yeah, shout out to our guy Ed McMahon. Rest in peace. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Trust me, I know. We know. Trust me, we a gray old man like myself remember Star Search. It's
But
no
just to
trust me.
show and
Yeah,
coming from Star Search,
yeah,
and then actually being on, it was great. I mean, I'm serious, man. Like we grew up with him,
yeah,
and you know what I mean, and for him to be up there, I really, and then you hear the music, and I think about all the good times in Richmond, and I'm happy for him, man.
yeah. And I think it was great. I mean, to me, I know a lot of people had issues with them, but I'm like, it's. But to me, I look at it. That man has 30 years of hits. To me, it was an appetizer sampler. I know I had to inject that stuff
Right,
into the conversation. It was everything you needed. I mean,
right,
all his hits that like you said, it brings you back to a time. Like we
right,
talk about, yeah, that reminds me of when, like I said, we're dating ourselves at this point. When
right,
I was like, I was 20. I remember when that song came out, I was 20 years old, which now, God, it's like 20 years ago,
right.
that type of stuff. And I remember, all that stuff. And it's just, and you gotta think to yourself, this was a concert and it was condensed in so many times. Like he jam packed that 15-minute concert, and I think it was great. All the appearances, obviously, like Lil Jon, Ludacris, and it's almost like all of it encompassed different types of, like I said, the emotion, and then also just the eras that you remember. Yeah, like we talked about with yeah. Then
Hmm.
also my boo. Obviously,
Hmm.
I might have been in love with a girl at the time that didn't have a mattress, but I'll be quiet. And it's hey. Anyway, let me chill out. See, there I go. Hey. Slow your roll. But anyway, let's stay focused. But in all seriousness, I think it was a great performance. Being able to incorporate, like like we talked about,
Right,
Alicia Keys, Will I Am,
right.
her.
Well, I am
And
look
then
like a damn fool. I ain't gonna lie to you,
I
but
mean, like, he got new Apple glasses or whatever things. So he looked
when
very
he
futuristic.
when he drives his car, it plays like a synthesizer in his.
I
Anyway.
don't know what dude, but yeah, but then you just look at all the other stuff, like as far as like the bands and then the skating,
Man, the
and
HBCU.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
like, and of course, a lot of people was like, well, "Why is he skating?" I'm like, this isn't for you, because I mean, just like we're talking, that's what Usher does. He skates like how we
yeah.
talk. We
It-
talking all the time.
right.
It's the equivalent of him. He's a skate king of Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
it's part of Atlanta's history. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. So that's why it's like, if you don't understand the significance of him skating, just go to the bathroom for 15 minutes and then watch the rest of the game. It's okay.
So, like,
It's okay.
for instance, me personally, I think that the reason he even, I mean, he deserved it, but even more, he's had this residency at in Vegas, what, about 2 3 years now?
like 2.5 years. Yeah,
How long?
2.5 years. Yep.
So check it out. Do you know how many people are leaving from across the world, not just America, to Vegas just to go see his show?
Oh
Just so that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. So he deserves it. It's probably it ain't too many. I mean, I know it's a lot of people got residencies, but it's not too many in the culture that's trending
yeah,
that it's not Usher. Like Usher is trending. Like everybody know that he's going to sing. He's going to call out whatever celebrity and let everybody cheer for him. If a woman's there, he's going to sing. It's, I hate to tell people, it's really a part of the show. You know what I mean? Because Usher
yeah,
really is not that guy that say, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and try to serenade and take your chick." That's not Usher. That dude is from Petersburg.
yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that dude is
Trust me,
from Petersburg. That's his
dirty
nickname.
macking. Yeah,
Like,
dirty macking.
right, right. And the other one from other
Yeah.
one, the other one used to be a president. He from Arkansas. Anyway, we gonna keep that moving.
But yeah, man. Yeah, you're right about that. And like you said, normally when you think of residencies, and like you said, especially from our culture,
Right,
you think of like Celine Dion, you
right,
think of like Wayne Newton, you think of
right,
people who that
right,
that aren't in the hemisphere of our culture,
right.
quote unquote. Yeah, like you said, we don't have guys like that do rest because I remember when Russia was doing residency because normally you think that's reserved for somebody that's
Yeah,
like older like most of the artists who have had residencies from my recent memory,
right.
and I think Prince might have did a
I was thinking
residency.
that too. He did. He did.
But you think about it, Prince was like in his 50s at the time, and you wouldn't think of
Right.
Usher maybe like what 46, 47, right around
Yeah.
that age range.
Oh, he's my
He's
age. He's
right.
45.
He felt fat. Yeah. Well, you only 45. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But yeah. But I don't know. That's another thing where it's that age weirdness. Like it's
Right.
like because you think when I think of Usher, I always thought when he came on the scene, he was a lot older, but not realizing hell, we was probably teenagers. He probably was,
Right.
like real talk. Like, but I'm saying it's just you sit down and you really think about it. So it's kind of like you said, it is different. And even with a guy like even with a Prince,
Hmm.
as far as just the because you look at like Usher, like he's in the age
Right.
range, like he is
Right.
like our culture. But like, yeah, I loved it. And I think it's just one of those where it's just like, I mean, he's the R&B singer. I don't know what you expected. Like to me it was like I said in the
Yeah.
beginning,
Right.
it was an appetizer sampler. I got the
Right.
sliders, I got the onion rings, I got the chicken wings,
Right.
boneless chicken wings
Right.
and everything. I got what I wanted. It can't. It's a 15 minutes. It
He
ain't like he's
and he
three
did good with
hours.
the effects. That's what I'm saying. He did good with the effects, but he didn't
Yeah,
do anything out of the normal that I had never seen with Usher. And I love
yeah,
that. It was really about these hits, this music, and he didn't even dance hard. You know what I mean? He kept it.
yeah,
You can see his showmanship
yep,
maturity by staying in one spot and dance what he needed to, but he sung from his soul. He was singing live, like it really
yeah,
wasn't. I know nobody want
yeah.
everybody want to speak about the greatest, Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson lip synced.
Still,
I mean, who
still,
cares because you get to sing, but
right.
this dude sung had a mic,
Yeah,
he sung he sung live. So, but yeah, man,
yeah,
it's nothing wrong. It's just Usher. I mean, it wasn't nothing over
yeah.
the top. It's just Usher. You
I
know what I'm
mean, and
saying?
yeah, and it wasn't supposed to be that way. I think it's for what he does, and I never went to one of his Lord,
Concert, yeah.
concerts. But a lot of people say it's really just a sample size of what you will see in in his concert. So I mean,
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, you know,
I know
but
one
yeah,
thing. They traveling from across the world to go see it. As
oh yeah,
people, I'm telling you, you go and talk to a hairdresser or somebody like that, and that's what they say. They're not just going to Vegas. They're
yeah,
going to go see Usher. My
oh yeah,
lady who's doing my loctician, she went twice. She went when he
oh,
went. She went twice to Vegas, and she saw him in Norfolk.
yeah. And you look at now, even his tour, like people are like, oh gosh, you see how many people talk about his tour coming up, and now he's adding more dates, and it's just
Hmm.
it's and like it's perfect. And then obviously him having that new album that came out Friday, it's like he's created such a buzz, and it's
Right.
just like, and that's what like, and it was smart for him to have a creative album to help generate that buzz again, because a lot of people always think, well, why are these why are these performers they perform for free for the NFL? But I'm like, the promotion alone is going to get you to it. because even they was even saying that Yale now is as far as charting up as far as streams on Spotify, and but it's all of it. And then you think about it like with if you listen to all the coverage from the NFL Network, CBS, pretty much anybody, the major networks who have covered Super Bowl all week were playing Usher music. So of course it's just that constant that's just that constant promotion that you can't get anywhere else,
Right.
so it's infectious, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm really curious who's gonna be in next year. I
Me too. Me too.
especially if you're in New Orleans. I'm like, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very. I always
Man,
look
go get the
forward to like.
tank.
I,
That's the
all right,
P.
Ocho.
Go get Silta Shaka.
Uh-oh. Well, they be. Oh gosh, to me. Could you imagine that? And then just like, because people was even sure about like, could you imagine like, oh my gosh, why is this military style tank is in here? Like,
Dude, I can see it now.
are they wearing Ricky Williams jerseys?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, sweet
You,
heavens,
oh my
what
God, you
happened
win.
here?
You win. You know they will. You know they will. Oh,
I
that's
was like,
hilarious.
what is this? Bentley's, Hummers, and
So,
Rum.
do you think they're gonna do you think they're gonna give it to Lil Wayne?
I don't know. I would be really be interesting though. I mean, they normally don't, but I gotta think about this is the Jay-Z era. So, because it's a possibility because he let Dr. Dre kind of do his thing in LA.
Maybe mix it with a
J-
band.
Jay-Z, now with Jay-Z at the helm, I think it's more possible than, because I remember when they had it in Atlanta, they had Maroon 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They had Maroon 5, and who was the dude? Was it? It wasn't 21 Savage, was it?
It was the other one.
Yeah, it was the other one.
One of them guys from Atlanta. But yeah, but I'm saying, but this is before Jay-Z took over.
Mhm.
So it's a possibility. I definitely think he could definitely be there. And then, I mean, could you imagine if that is happening? Oh my gosh, that would be
I
so funny.
I could see him with a rock band. I could see a rock, looks like they did in Atlanta, where it could be a rock because he likes doing his music with a live band anyway.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
could see that, but it is New Orleans. I know they've been going hip hop and R&B for the last few years. You know what I
right.
mean? And we know
Yeah,
things have got to be balanced. So
yeah, because I know, because yeah, especially now with Jay-Z taking over, I can see it. And then just we imagine who would be the guest. I know because he even said, I know he interviewed Taylor Rooks interviewed him the other day. He's like, shoot, he's like, I'm gonna sing all everybody part. He was like, hey, I'm bringing Bobby Valentino. I was like,
Woo! Beat, 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 beat.
so I guess he gonna be like, Will.
Oh man.
Like I
Um,
got.
like a cat. So it's probably gonna be Taylor Swift though.
And then people would like Weezy. She be like, it would be wild. And then out the three-peat, oh, don't do this.
Hey, I was on
And
my
it's a
buddy's
three-peat.
house. I was on my buddy's house, and his daughter came because we was outside in the garage while they were cooking,
Mm-hmm.
and his daughter came outside. TVs everywhere. She came outside. She was like, "I came out here to see if I could see Taylor." I was cracking.
Yeah, she
I'm,
had
go-
Taylor.
I'm looking for Taylor. It's
And then of course, then she gonna bring Ice Spice and be like, you think I'm feeling you? Ha ha, you're a monster.
right. You bet not.
you bet not. You know.
You bet not.
Exactly. And then of course Joe Budden gonna be in there. Yeah, because he love all that little ratchet stuff. I'm like, bro, you're 50 years old, dog.
Of course he does.
Lighten up, right?
He's a loving hip hop hall of fame hall of famer.
Pretty much, but
Pretty
yeah,
much, you know. Hey, if you look at the look, Benzino, I know we going off stuff, but Benzino,
man.
Stevie J, and Joe Budden, Benzino and they take the steroids or something like this,
Right.
and then Joe Budden, Mr. Conservative, but all of them like that ratchetness.
Big facts. So we'll put a so as obviously with the Super Bowl ending with Super Bowl now, we gotta really go back and talk about our favorite moments of the NFL season as we close out this tremendous season that was the National Football League. So what was your favorite moments of this year? What you got?
Man, I got a few. Okay, first ones is what was it? The Raiders versus the I think the Chargers, and it was
Mhm.
the what 63-7.
Oh, Thursday night game. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah.
and then what was the other? The Broncos losing to Miami, the 70-20.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
And then we're gonna get into the legal stuff. Kansas City versus Buffalo, 20-17. Kelsey catches the ball and then laterals it to Tony,
Yeah.
and then flag, and he lined up in the neutral
Oh.
zone. Yeah. Um. Let me see. Um. The Broncos drama, starting off 0-3, 0 whatever, and then ending up almost making the wild card. I thought that was interesting. The AFC South three-way tie and the merge of the Texans, definitely, and definitely the Lions. I think there's versus the Cowboys. I know I wrote it down. What's that? I guess a freestyle. But the yeah, it is illegal. Uh the Lions called with illegal. It said illegal touch where the two guys
Yeah.
came in. Um, but then you figured out that they did do what they were supposed to do. It just was a
Hmm.
bad call. But I also wanted to say that the coach probably should have kicked. What was it? He probably should have kicked the extra point. I
Oh, you
think.
talking about Dan Campbell?
Yeah, I think he once that happened, he should have went on ahead and either tried to kick the extra point or something. He went on ahead and went for the 2 points. He kept
Yeah.
going for it. But yeah, that's my favorite moments. I got one more. Definitely the biggest one. My family going to see into Pittsburgh to go see the Browns versus the Steelers, and the whole crowd saying "Fire Matt Canada" and Deshaun
Right.
Watson throwing the ball against the Pittsburgh Steelers thing,
Yeah.
and then Matt Canada getting fired, and definitely my Steelers making a way.
Yeah. A lot of mine is just the emergence of the Detroit Lions. Obviously,
Right.
a couple moments that stood out. Obviously, them going to Arrowhead in Week 1, beating the at the time was defending Super Bowl champions, now current two-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Then Barry Sanders statue in front of
Mm-hmm.
Ford Field. I think that was a great ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, them having their first home game since like 1991 or 92 or what have you, beating their former quarterback Jared Goff. So that was such. I mean, not Jared Goff. I mean Matthew Stafford. Them beating Matthew Stafford,
Right.
Jared Goff getting a win over. Obviously those two were traded for each other. Um, and then that, and then also you talked about another game that involved Detroit Lions. Oh, another game that involved the Detroit Lions was against the Dallas Cowboys when Jimmy Johnson was elected into the Wall of Fame. They had a
Right.
ceremony for him, and I thought that was going to be the exorcism of the Cowboys. But 2 weeks later, they end up losing to the Green Bay Packers. So that was great.
Right.
So and then also like you the Texans going to Indianapolis and win the AFC South. That was a great win there. What the hell is going on with this damn webcam? But we are back. Um, yeah, I think, and then also just this Kansas City run. I mean, I think the funny thing about I think like the Kansas City going to Buffalo, and Patrick Mahomes running out the field like a little child, and he's getting booed and also getting just a bunch of snowballs going his way, and him doing that, and then them persevering and winning that football game. Just that
Mm-hmm.
whole run, I think it was fun. Obviously, them going to Baltimore, and and then that moment with Jason Kelsey and Travis, to coming together. I think that's always a good moment, to see those two like hugging and stuff. It kind of gets you kind of like, make you just, you just tell the love between them two. So I think that was kind of cool. But yeah, man, but it was such a great season.
Right.
It's funny to think I still even remember when we, did the previews, uh, you know, uh, divisional previews, and then our script, our predictions going into the season, and then just how the season has been, man. It's just funny, the time just flies, but it's been a hell of a ride for this 2023-2004 NFL season.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah,
man. Ups and downs, and the one who actually the team that actually won to me is the actual team that should have won.
yeah, and it was a very
True.
in a very unorthodox, weird way, but they
Right.
won. They won, and this was an opportunity I thought was going to be the year where, you know, Superman was gonna get his kryptonite, but no, he, even in their worst display, they came out on top. And yeah,
Yeah.
man. So we'll put a bow on our Couch Coast Live Super Week. Your final thoughts before we head on out?
Oh man, great season, great time, great weekend, great food, great family, great people, great game, great halftime show. It's going to be hard, but let's get ready for the NBA season.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
it's gonna
and,
definitely,
and the
like you said,
UXFL.
yeah, yeah, that's
Right.
too, and yeah, and then NASCAR next this weekend,
Mm.
at Daytona,
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl NASCAR next week, but yeah, yeah, it's gonna, like you said, even though the football season always sucks, but like you said, you got the off season, we got the draft coming up, free agency, so
Right.
it's still gonna be NFL is still gonna dominate the headlines, but this time it'll be off the field more so than on the field.
Right.
So it's still gonna be some good opportunities, and this is the best time of the year because we all are undefeated, and there's always gonna be some type of optimism going into the season, like
Right.
so that's the beauty thing about it. We're all trying to get try to force Kansas City off that collision course for their three-peat. That's everybody's job at this point is, hey, let's get to Kansas City if we get the opportunity. So
Mm-hmm.
and so every now the goal now is to be the last two standing in New Orleans next year, and but that's the best time. As far as the optimism, we're all at a point where, hey, we can have a positive outlook about next year. But
Mm.
it is what it is. But so social media and and everything. Just plug away social media. What you got?
Man, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. Man, appreciate you, man. It's been great.
Yeah, man. Yes, indeed. Yes. So on social media, pretty much anywhere social media, Couch Coach Live. That's Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Instagram. That is concerned. Also, the website couchcoachlive.com. So with it being any other football season, oh yes, yes. And this week's Couch Coach Live is powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. Head on to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code Couch Coach to get yourself $20 off your first purchase. So before we head on out, it is the ending of the season. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take our tails to Cancun. We're gonna take a little bit of a little sabbatical. We'll be back. I want to say March the 20th. I think that's on a Wednesday, March 20th. So we'll be back on March the 20th. We're gonna take a little time off, about a 5-week break, but
Ooh.
there'll still be some content around, obviously, with me still covering VCU women's and men's basketball. I still have updates on the Couch Coach Live page, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all that. So we'll still have that going on, and then some other events that's going to be going on between now and March. So catch you guys not next week, but we'll catch you guys back on March the 20th. So we'll get you ready for the NCAA tournament. That'll be during like the league new year as well. So, and we might throw in some content in between, but we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
we'll
We'll
plan it
see.
all out. We'll get that all squared away.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, so this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys back on March the 20th. And we're out.
Welcome.